Hi my friends, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm wearing my kindergarten team shirt today, so I thought it would be perfect for me to read a kindergarten book. This one is Annabelle Swift, Kindergartner. Lucy taped the name tag onto her little sister's blouse. Annabelle Swift, Kindergartner. She read, "I remember my first day of kindergarten, Annabelle," Lucy said importantly. "I didn't have a big sister to train me." Annabelle straightened her name tag. "I'm going to teach you the fancy stuff, Annabelle. Tomorrow, they'll know you're my sister." Annabelle followed Lucy into the den. Lucy stood by the globe. "This is the world, Annabelle. This is geography." She peered at the globe and put her finger on a certain spot. "And this is us. Got that?" Annabelle nodded. "Good. On to colors." Next they went to their mother's dressing table. Lucy coated her lips with lipstick. "What color is this, Annabelle?" "Red." "This is not red," Lucy replied. She read the lipstick label. "This is raving scarlet." She smeared powder under her eyebrows. "And this is blue desire. Now that you've gotten that, we'll do arithmetic before dinner." Those are some crazy colors that she's putting on. Lucy emptied their father's change dish onto the rug. "Remember to ask lots of questions, Annabelle. Teachers like that. Are there numbers less than 0? And what's the number after infinity anyway?" Annabelle didn't answer. She was already counting the pennies on the rug. Annabelle loved to count. Lucy had already taught her the numbers past 100. If your parents have some loose change hanging around, maybe you guys can go get it all together and count it, just like we did on Magic Pennies on Friday. Annabelle came to a nickel. Lucy had taught Annabelle about nickels. "Remember, a nickel's worth 5 pennies, Lucy said. She picked up a penny. 1, she counted. Then she took Annabelle's nickel. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A nickel and a penny. 6 cents. "Annabelle, call your sister to dinner," their mother called from the kitchen. Annabelle stood up. She cleared her throat and moved close to Lucy. "Dinner!" she shouted. How did her sister feel about her shouting that? Annabelle woke up early the next morning. She practiced counting the nickels and pennies in her father's change dish until her mother told her it was time to get ready. Annabelle ate breakfast and put on the red dress she'd helped pick out for her first day of kindergarten. Lucy helped Annabelle on with her sweater. "Remember your milk money." Lucy gave Annabelle the nickel and the penny that were lying on the dresser. "And don't forget your name tag. It'll bring you luck." Annabelle smiled. She put the name tag in her pocket and rubbed it with her finger. Why did she rub it with her finger? Probably to help her get some luck. The girl's mother walked with them to school. They dropped Lucy off at her 3rd grade classroom. "Okay, good luck, honey," her mother said. "Let the teacher know who's boss." Lucy hugged her mother. She turned to her little sister and shook her hand. "Annabelle, remember, you're my sister." Annabelle and her mother walked past the 2nd grade room, past the 1st grade room, and up to the kindergarten. A tall man opened the door. "Hello there. I'm Mr. Blum, the kindergarten teacher. Annabelle, Mr. Blum will look after you." Annabelle's mother kissed her goodbye. "I'll be back at noon to pick you up." Mr. Blum took Annabelle's hand. "Come join your classmates on the green rug. I'm just calling roll. Watch the other children and you'll know what to do." Annabelle sat down like the other kids and folded her hands. "Max Adams?" Mr. Blum called. A red-haired boy waved his hand. "Welcome, Max." "Eddie Kramer?" "Here," said a little girl. Annabelle folded and refolded her hands. Her mouth was dry. "Lucy," she whispered. "What do I do?" Then she saw the corner of her name tag sticking out of her pocket and remembered. "My sister told me how to do this," she said to the chubby boy sitting next to her. "Annabelle Swift," Mr. Blum called. Annabelle jumped up. She cleared her throat. "Annabelle Swift, kindergartner." All the kids on the green rug started laughing, except the chubby boy. Annabelle sat down. She wanted to crawl under the rug. I think she was feeling a little bit embarrassed because the other kids laughed at her. Now let's go to the concept corner for the colored lollipop game, Mr. Blum said. He pulled a construction paper lollipop out of a box. Who knows what color this is? Raving scarlet, Annabelle whispered to the chubby boy. Red, Eddie Kramer called out. That's right, Eddie, said Mr. Blum. Annabelle rubbed her name tag with her finger. She counted the buttons on Mr. Blum's shirt. She kept rubbing the name tag because she wanted more good luck from it. Her sister had told her, if you rub the name tag, it'll bring you some luck. Sounds like she needs some luck in her kindergarten class right now. Mr. Blum pulled out another lollipop. And this one? Annabelle jumped to her feet. Blue Sire, she shouted. Mr. Blum cleared his throat. It's light blue, Annabelle. Annabelle sat down. Drat that Lucy, she whispered to herself. Sounds like she's a little upset with her sister. Her sister taught her some very specific colors. During recess, Annabelle and the chubby boy dragged sticks along the fence. Annabelle, a bush outside the fence said. Annabelle jumped. Then she recognized the voice. Don't worry, she said to the boy. It's just my sister. How's kindergarten? The bush asked. Isn't my training a big help? Annabelle glared at the bush. Not exactly, she said. Annabelle dropped her stick. Her lower lip quivered. Everything I say is wrong. Oh, Annabelle, the bush said. Don't cry. Remember, Annabelle, you're not just any kid. You're Annabelle Swift, Kindergartner. Put on your name tag, the bush whispered. It'll help. The chubby boy helped Annabelle stick on her name tag as they walked inside. All the kids sat down on the green rug. Mr. Blum said, Now we'll have arithmetic. Any questions before we begin? Annabelle decided not to ask about 0 or infinity. Mr. Blum pointed to some big numbers on a felt board. We'll practice counting together first. The class counted to 10. To herself, Annabelle counted past 100. And now, snack time, Mr. Blum announced. I'd like for all of you to take out your milk money and put it in the middle of the rug. Everyone piled nickels and pennies on the rug. Mr. Blum picked up some coins. A nickel is 5 cents, and a penny is 1, he said. During the year, we'll study nickels and pennies. In June, whoever can count all the money will get to be the milk monitor. For now, I'll add up the coins myself. We know that a nickel is 5 pennies, and we also know that a dime is how many pennies? 10 pennies. And we know that a quarter is 25 pennies. But a dollar, a magic dollar, is worth how many pennies? It's a lot. A magic dollar is worth 100 pennies. That's a lot. But many of the kindergartners decided to start counting the milk money right away. Most kids didn't get past 10 cents. Max Adams ran out of fingers. Eddie Kramer got the nickels mixed up with the pennies. Soon, Annabelle was the only kindergartner counting. 105, Annabelle said. 106, 107, 108. The class was stunned. Annabelle, Mr. Blum exclaimed. That's wonderful. In all my years of teaching, I've never seen a kindergartner count all the milk money on the very first day. He shook Annabelle's hand. Class, today Annabelle will take the milk money to the cafeteria. The boy cheered. Hooray for Annabelle! Mr. Blum put all the nickels and pennies in a big yellow envelope. He wrote $1.08 on the corner and handed it to Annabelle. That big pink building at the end of the walkway is the cafeteria, he said. I'll watch you from the window to make sure you get there. Just give the envelope to one of the cafeteria ladies inside. Annabelle took the envelope. She opened the door and headed for the cafeteria. She walked past the first grade room and the second grade room, clearing her throat rather loudly. She walked past her sister's third grade. She opened the door to the cafeteria. Why, thank you, dear, a big lady wearing a scary red hairnet said. She took the envelope and handed Annabelle a tray holding 18 little cartons of milk and 18 straws. Annabelle carried the tray to the cafeteria door. Honey, I need to mark down the milk monitor for our records, the hairnet lady called for her. What's your name, dear? My name's Annabelle, Annabelle said. She slowly opened the door. Then she carefully turned around, balancing the big tray. "My name's Annabelle," she repeated. "Annabelle Swift, kindergartner." Then, past the third grade room, past the second grade room, and past the first grade room, Annabelle Swift, kindergartner, proudly walked back to join her class. So think back at the beginning of the book. Did Annabelle feel very comfortable at her first day of kindergarten? Even though her sister tried to help her, tried to prepare her for kindergarten with all of the different counting, the colors, she didn't feel that quite prepared. And she definitely didn't feel that comfortable, especially when people were laughing at her. By the end of the story, how did Annabelle feel? She felt pretty good. She felt pretty proud of herself because she was able to count and she was able to be the milk monitor for her class. Pretty awesome of her. So go find your parents' change and go try and count all of their change. Remember, there's a penny, there's a nickel that's worth 5 pennies, there is a dime that's worth 10 pennies, and there is a magic dollar that is worth 100 pennies. So go find all of those around your guys' house and try and count as many as you can. If you can, send me some pictures of all of the change that you guys could find and tell me how much you were able to count to. Are you able to count to $1.08 like Annabelle was? All right, have fun doing that. We'll see you guys later.